Hey guys, so we just watched Black Widow. And
we did.
Yes. So like we're gonna shoot our review in a bit, and it's gonna be attached to the reaction for the movie. I imagine we're gonna be talking for a long time.
Yes, there are thoughts,
Yes.
which we will try to condense as efficiently as possible here.
From our discussion during the credits, I think we're fairly on the same page. Yeah, Marvel's not gonna be paying us a check this time because we got, we just gotta be honest here.
No, this is not going to hit their required talking points.
Look, I know how these go. If we come on here being like, yeah, everyone's gonna be like, you guys love everything, which I hear constantly, and they clearly haven't seen some of our other videos. And then if I come on here talking crap about a movie, it's like some people are gonna be mad right away when I'm like, well, dude, you want to be mad about us giving our opinion? You haven't seen the movie. We have. All right, most of you haven't. Most of you who are gonna be upset about us being honest about some things, you haven't seen it. Maybe when you do see it and you disagree with us, then fine, totally valid.
Awesome.
Sorry, we're not giving the opinion you might be looking for to validate an anticipation.
No, you hate women. That's it. That's all it is.
Okay, look, positives for sure. Florence Pugh as Yelena. I kind of just expected her to be good because it's Florence Pugh. I wasn't expecting to love her so early on in this movie and be incredibly excited about Yelena.
Yeah.
She is astounding. She is the best part of this movie. They don't even force her down your throat. Like, she's just that good.
It's good partly because she's just so naturally just kind of there.
She brings the dramatic weight. She brings the great levity.
Totally lived in for all the crazy stuff they're asking her to do.
Yes.
For the first time we're seeing her do it.
There's a lot of action in this movie. One might argue too much.
A lot. There's
There's a lot of action in this movie. When you guys see our reaction, I'm sure there'll be a thumbnail of us looking excited in some way, right? Just because there are moments that truly generate that.
Yeah.
There are moments, especially in the action scenes, especially in the comedy moments, that really hit. The action itself, there's a good variety of it, from car chases to some great practical stunts, some great choreography too, and a good mixture of it. All the performers are great. Rachel Weisz, she's excellent too.
I mean, the main core ensemble of David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, Florence Pugh, and Scarlett Johansson especially are really good together. Regardless of any other part of the movie, they are always really doing a great job with the performance and just feeling like an ensemble with some history together.
Sure, Taskmaster's okay.
Taskmaster's in there.
He's got a cool.
He's in there somewhere.
A couple of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Can't say too much. There's nuanced, lived-in performances in this movie that really help elevate a lot of the film, and the music's really good. The movie itself is okay. I think it's an okay movie.
But it's fun.
It's always the safety thing to say, right?
But it's fun.
But the thing though is that it is fun.
It is fun.
That's the thing. It is actually fun.
It's fun enough that there's still stuff that you'll enjoy.
But ultimately, a big part of me actually felt a little disappointed because this is Black Widow's standalone movie. When people are saying, "What's the point in the marketing? Why? She's already gone."
Yeah.
This movie I did not feel like this movie justified it.
Yeah, it doesn't nail the point beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
It gets close sometimes.
Constantly. This movie is
constantly in a state of taking off.
This movie's constantly close to getting
and then
there.
right when I'm like, oh, we're gonna hit some altitude, we're gonna get into some meaty stuff. No, there's another action scene, surprise. We don't have time for any of that.
It's constant. It's a lot of missed potential, I think.
In some ways, I got what I expected, so I'm not bummed. But at the same time, yes, it does leave you wishing that they went further, expanded harder, and paid off more succinctly and more emotionally than they do.
It just sacrificed a lot for, I feel, to just be an entertaining flick. I could see the outline. There's a lot of text here that's telling me what to feel,
and what the themes are.
But you're not diving enough into scenes of why I should just feel this way instead of being like, here's information.
It's a very emotionally challenging story and set of circumstances that doesn't actually feel very emotionally challenging.
Yes.
Which I guess is my biggest complaint about the entire experience. Yeah.
I didn't really feel much. A lot of this comes down to feeling. Other than when the action was cool or there were some whoa, that's violent, or comedy moments. There's only a couple of isolated moments where I was really felt something.
Yeah.
For the most part, not so much. I think there's just way too much action, especially in like the first hour of this movie. And here's the thing: it's like sounds like a weird complaint. You're talking about a Marvel movie. Of course, there's going to be action.
You gotta temper the action.
You gotta temper it. You gotta earn your scenes instead of just like, dang, there's so much here. And I kind of, if you're telling me this is the Black Widow standalone movie we've been waiting for all these years, we've been waiting for it, and potentially this being her swan song too, it deserved better storytelling. There's a good outline here. There's a lot of potential. It's just the meat of the script. But especially where I think it really falters, the direction of the scenes that are not action and the editing of those scenes. This movie had tonal problems and pacing problems. I think this is the best Scarlett Johansson, Natasha Romanoff performance she's ever given. Undoubtedly. Yet, weirdly, she shines less than a lot of the other performers. It's a kind of this weird paradox.
There are other characters around who are either new or just much more big and boisterous and whatnot. I mean, she certainly leaves an impact, but in the same breath, I guess, in a send-off movie, I would have hoped for myself a bit more catharsis and a bit more rectification of the harsh aspects of Natasha's life.
Yes, I think this movie very apparently, like quite apparently, was really holding back in terms of how dark it could have been. You really want to push the envelope, but you're so not.
You don't want to feel a punch being pulled, because there's so many great themes that are established, and there are a lot of great challenging contexts for these characters to either rectify from the past or confront in the now. It did ultimately feel like, for whatever reason, they didn't pay those off in a very cathartic way, or in a way that was very lived in, or that it seemed like it wanted to spend a lot of time walking around in. Not that this needs to be a full-on character study, but at the same time, the place on the timeline this falls in, it is pretty much action, action, action.
And when it slows down, to have a scene, it doesn't really know how to just capture a good scene. That Taken 3 meme of just going over the fence. I'm like, why is this happening during a dialogue scene?
It starts to feel like most of the movie has one approach to editing, whereas some kind of variation in the flow and pace could have helped.
I didn't understand the intention of it. It was like watching a movie that was trying to be a Paul Greengrass movie, sort of. where you're like, let these scenes breathe, and so I could feel something. There's so much plot happening, and yet the movie doesn't seem to really know how to take its time to just allow you to feel.
For a movie that is of such consequence as being, the send-off for Scarlett Johansson, we've spent so much time with her, she has such a legacy in this iteration of the Marvel story, it doesn't actually feel as culminative for her as it should, I would argue, because without getting into too many details, it feels like a Black Widow adventure, but it doesn't feel like the definitive or the real send-off adventure that it could have. Like, it deals with her personal origin story, but it doesn't actually live there very much.
I felt a big part of what was missing with this movie was connecting to Natasha. And
some intimacy and some deconstruction.
Really understanding why this mission and having scenes more dedicated. I felt a lot more for like Yelena especially. They kind of just did a lot of assumption on the audience's part for Natasha. Like, you'll just care because her, You might know some.
This is a bad
You might remember some facts from the other movies.
You remember the context. This is a notably bad situation. It's easy to get on board with stopping. And
but knowing a goal is one thing, but feeling why of the goal is a whole other subject. And
joining the fight with your hero. Everything is there. Everything they need for a truly impactful story is there. But ultimately, it's all right.
But yeah, guys, I would still say check out our reaction if you want. What I will end with this is there's gonna be some things in this movie. There's gonna be some things in this movie that for sure will provoke, I'll say. That's
some strong reactions.
I'm gonna leave it as that.
To a few elements.
There's gonna be some things that a pocket of the internet, they're gonna so they're gonna be able to make videos for days.
Oh yeah, well, you
like
know,
I got the thing to get mad at. Here we go.
yeah. Ignite the controversy cycle.
I got the thing
Ring
to
the
be
bells.
pissed off about. Here we go.
Let me rant for an hour live.
Yes.
Send a
And
super
how
chat.
many of these can I bleed out? I'd still stay watch it because I don't think they were lazy. I think they put a lot of hard work into this movie. You could tell everyone really cares. And what I'm hoping for is that we're in the minority. It's a weird thing to say because ideally you want people to agree with you. but I root for the films and I root for the filmmakers and everyone, because this is a movie that takes a lot, like thousands of people working on for so long, and this movie was delayed forever. I hope that most people really enjoyed this movie versus feeling the way we felt. I gotta be honest.
There's a lot of work to appreciate, and I feel like people who aren't looking for as much maybe as we are will still have a great time.
Anyway, guys, we'll see you. Thanks. Oh yeah, one thing I'll add. You know, there's a post-credit scene, and it's one of the best scenes of the movie.